The members spread out across the world. We even have a writer in Egypt and one in Russia. And what it is, it's basically just music over spoken word poetry. And but again, all the members are so spread out. Can't really get everyone here. So I'm going to start out with the first poem I ever really heard that really got me into this.
Thank you.
And
that was mine.
Unfortunately, out of all the poems, I've written 50 in 1 year. That's when I started writing music. And out of all those poems, I don't know any of my own by heart, but I know this one that's not even by me by heart. I still have the paper up here in case. So it's called Jellyfish by Andrea Gibson. She said, "You are an astronaut clipped from the mothership. You are a jellyfish with no lips." I said, "Listen, short stuff. I'll skip my moon rock across your puddle dive. I'll kiss your punches with my nose. I bet you smell like butterflies. But I bet you drink cocoon. And I bet you never say the word fuck, but we all know you do. My heart is a runway. I've been staring at the sky since my love took off. Will you be my friend? Will you poem me a porch swing? Will you punch me in the tuft just once? I need to reset my bones, swing set my rib cage, so the next time that somebody pushes me away, I'll swing right back to that chisel with my marble spine. Go ahead, build me. Go ahead, throw me at the storm like a fisherman's prayer. Did you ever think about God's ears? Wonder if the levee broke a promise. Wonder if the wrecking ball was trying to run its fingers soft across the brick, but its head was just too heavy. Before you become my friend, picnic with my rubble, road trip with everyone I left in the dust, do the laundry from the last time I was loaded, how she found my trigger, and we awoke with the sheets pulled above our head, praying the mortician could make us pretty, but none of us are pretty. And our ugly has an alibi, and our gorgeous has a baby sister, a sand collection, those two harmonicas will keep blowing off of that flute we carved from our wrist. Put your lips here. Tell me there is music in my blood, then tell me there is more in my light. Hang me a chandelier from the last night I believed this life had to hurt so much. I am done kneeling in the church of steepled smokestacks, done stargazing my own train crash. Give me wind sprint. Tell me my fingerprints are the shape of ripples on a frozen lake. I'll tell you these poems, they're my birthmark, and I came this close to having them removed, even kept that voice box cutter hidden in my shoe the day that flight took off. But the runway, it's made of marble, made of gush, made of windmill, made of salt, and there is a sea of hope chest in every word I speak, praying to be opened by the night with its belly full of anchors, full of yield, pull the shield from my wingspan. Teach me how the candle wax says thank you to the flame. Tell me how your mother says your name like an orchard in bloom. A doctor once told me I feel too much. I said, so does God. That's why you can see the Grand Canyon from the moon. We are a telescope of riverbeds. We are empty lockets melting into gold. We are hearts breaking bread. Fold me in your napkin poem. Pull the tinsel from my hair from all the past I cannot let go. My gills are adjusting to the air. The story husk peeled from my bones. Our bones are the song of our tears, dripping from the faucet, ticking like a metronome. I know there's better music, even in this cabin full of fever. Tonight I'm catching nothing but the lightning bug. And I wish for a heart you can see straight through, for a voice that glows in the dark, and a few really good friends. Skip moon rocks too. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the only one by anybody else I'm going to do. The rest of I wrote.
Jonah, would you
Yeah, put that one up. This one is. Okay. What are you doing back?
I thought you were talking about his poem.
You scared me. This poem is more of a story.
It's not just one person.
I came up with the idea after in my sociology class. Our professor told us that when an elephant dies in a herd, the other elephants in the herd will circle around it and actually cry, mourning it. And whenever they travel on and come back through other seasons, they will stand right on the spot where they stood when the elephant died and cry again in remembrance. And I thought that was really powerful and really, really interesting, and I never known that, and didn't really have anything to really do with that, but I kind of wrote lines about that down, and everything kind of grew from that. And it's called Sara's Imaginary Silos. The Indian girl sat down next to me at the after-party bar. Our noses split, the incense smoke streaming too, and I felt the closeness between us. Once we moved past the weather chat, we fell like a sunset down onto the vinyl couch, and she told me about her folks. How Papa works and goes to temple and prays a lot. How her mother never wears shoes if she can help it because she wants to be that much closer to earth and to God. And I like that a lot. I want to know about her God, her Vishnu, her Krishna, Hanuman and Shiva, Parvati, Saraswati, Durga, and Kali. She told me I don't believe in God. It's hard to believe in someone that doesn't believe in you. And I don't say anything. But yeah, my mom probably has some books about those gods. Maybe I can borrow them for you sometime. But I know she won't. I say I like Ganesha, the elephant god, remover of obstacles. Did you know that when one elephant dies, the member of its herd circle around him and they actually cry? That is my definition of unity. She smiles at that line and I take a hit. I don't need any more. I gotta drive, gotta drive, gotta drive. Gotta stop worrying about myself. And she tells me she's homeless. Papa's daughter had to believe in God to believe he had a daughter. She likes to imagine the black sky she sleeps under at night as a giant silo ceiling. When the moon is out, that's a big cupcake, and the stars are its sprinkles. She works in a corner tea shop sweeping, and yeah, she sweeps me up, and I took her back to her house, her empty back alley silo. Before she gets out, I awkwardly tell her, I believe in the silence of broken tractors and in the staircase of a lighthouse. I believe in the earth and in the broken souls of trees. I believe in the inhuman twang of a sitar and in the broken strings of a guitar. I believe in sprinklers and in broken bathroom mirrors. I believe in gypsies and in pirates and sandcastles and little brothers. I believe in trumpets and cotton candy and Sunday mornings and in the circus. And I believe in you. She grinned, I think, and gave me the number to the tea shop and said, if you ever stop believing in God, come find me. And in my rearview mirror, I see her disappear under a mirage of pastry and sprinkles, and all I hear is the silence of a broken tractor somewhere. Thank you. This one, oh, what do you need for what is this one? Is that one, Luca? Okay. This one is a poem I wrote called "My Body as My Gift to You," and honestly, I'll be honest. A lot of it doesn't. It's a lot of ideas I came up with. I woke up, had that line in my head, and as I'd heard it on the show earlier that day, and this kind of just is one of those things that whenever you're mindlessly half alive at 4 a.m. comes out, and this one will be on our CD. Oh, another thing too is I have a CD of 2 songs, like $2 or whatever. Just ask me for it, or if Maiden named the band after this. If you buy, their shirts are only $5. Buy 2, you get another shirt for free, which is $10, and you get one of my CDs free. So you get 3 shirts and a CD for $10. So if you have the money, it's great. But if not, I can just help you out with the CD if I get it to you anyway. But enough rambling. This is my body is my gift to you. My body is my gift to you. You crawled through my veins like a thief through the ventilation shafts that broke through the ceiling, and then all the blood poured from each end of my body, and I can't find where I begin. I'll sand down stones until they're flat enough for a bed, and we'll close our eyes and the pebbles will fill empty spaces between you and me. I'll tap dance on your stretched skin canvas with ink on the tips of my toes. I'll paint you an elephant clothed in halos and piano wire, shoestrings and forget-me-not love letters of porcelain children. I want to fall in love with you. Every word is a block I used to build onto my pyramids, so one day I'll climb to the very tip and scream shattered glass in eternal joy, and the light that was once contained within will dance in God's atriums, where He hosts the most magnificent symphonies. The holy notes sang out through the rafters and came down to me. Have you ever tried to comprehend the Word of God? Did you know that His own name could make your soul melt through the bottom of your feet? The sound of His true name could split the great exist into nothing. I want to find you. You left me behind like a suitcase forgotten on the boarding platform to a train that carried my love into cities. I drank melted gold until my eyes saw nothing but you. And you are the pools that form beneath my eyes when my heartstrings play out to the host. You are my openings into which I breathe when I'm overflowing with you. I can feel you kick as you swim through my blood, like a spider mocking a fly in its nest, like the Romans mocked Christ on a cross. You are my openings into which I breathe, mocking my lungs with a lack of relief. Another thing too is, I talk about God a lot and things I write. I'm not overly religious. It's one of those things where I really like writing based on the idea of God, not from a religious aspect, but more of like God as like it's really hard to explain. Almost just like God Himself, but not from an overly religious, overthinking it standpoint. It's just hard, but so yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying here, but This poem I actually don't like, but I feel appropriate to read it because, and I'm bragging here, because this is actually going to be published in a book called Stars from Our Hearts. And it's a big anthology coming out in January with poets from all over the planet. And I'm really appreciative that they picked this to be in it because out of everything I've written, it's one of my least favorites. But, some people like things more than you think. And so I lay my head at my master's feet and watch as the lunar cycle above repeats. When we opened the earth, we saw our souls writing stories about how the sun is a candle and our words are a gust. And I woke up with spiders all over my feet and Jesus Christ laying on the couch beside me. He saw the word of God written on his hands, and he wept and went outside to mow the grass. I lay my hand at my brother's feet, watched and swallowed disillusion in tightly knit blindfolds. When we opened the door, we saw our souls writing stories about how the moon is a vase, but our hands hold a hammer. That's it. Again, it's not one of my favorites, but
I loved it, Jonah.
really,
I like it.
I
It
love
was
it online.
amazing.
you guys are so sweet.
Yes,
All
I
right.
am.
Now these
Woo,
next
like
two,
banjo.
I only got 3 more. But this one, these
Banjo
next
song.
2, I wrote a story about the idea of 2 grandparents. It's like one person telling another person almost about their grandparents' lives and about how the grandfather died in war and the grandmother stayed. I loved him until she died. And the first one is the grandfather's story. It's about him whenever she's actually on her deathbed, coming out of an old image of himself into reality and finding and watching him being there for her when she dies. So this is a poem called Homeward Will Be Wending, and these next 2 are the only two on the CD. So if you like them, that's what you're going to hear on the CD with music and the band showing it. So when the projector turned off, your grandfather's 1944 Mirage still persisted on the screen. When the lights were out, he stepped out of the picture, dusted off his beltless trench coat, and climbed up your attic and rummaged through old packages, a distant nostalgia sealed with duct tape. He dug out his old banjo with a rusty fingerboard, went to the market, bought one gardenia, one new set of strings, and a fine-tooth comb. He walked by the country deli, turned right on 8th, past Honeybar wicker chairs, and up the stairs to William George Midwest Hospice Care Center. Following the caramel butter scent that still haunts your home today, you found your grandmother, withered like the berries of her unkept wilting grapevines. He took out the comb, brushed away the bits of cloud and field barley left over from those youthful summers. Your grandfather saw a caramel butter candle snoring gently inside of her chest. He jumped out a whisper, "The God in me wants to see the God in you." He held the gardenia above the candle, watched it ignite in a flame, tall and prevailing out of her. Inside of your grandfather's chest, a silk blanket unraveled, revealing a tiny marble locket. Would you look at that, honey? The God in me is the God in you. Inside of your grandfather's locket, there is a picture they put on his casket. It's the same one you were looking at on the projector just hours ago. Your grandfather plucked the weeping banjo, felt the strange whimper as he crooned to your grandmother, "Let's ride into the sunset together." His fingers slowly danced on those frets, just like the night she did in that. If you'd have asked him, he would have sworn he saw that candlelight sway in her chest like her hips the night they created your mother. He didn't kiss her goodbye, because that's how all these stories end. No, he kept repeating the lines, singing weaker and weaker, weaker and weaker. Her breath was breaking like a wicker. And the smoke rose from the tired wick within her chest. You awoke with so much sweat on your back, you thought you were in the great Atlantic. And once downstairs, you could feel the need to turn on the projector. And there stands his image, 1944, with a dissonant smile, like he always knew war would take him, but still uncertainty. Did you know that the night your mother was planted in the ground, a 450 metric ton meteorite exploded above the earth? Yeah, right near their home in Pennsylvania. Your grandfather always thought that was your mother arriving from heaven. And did you know that the morning you were planted, your father came home with a used banjo he bought from a junk man in Texas? Your mother cried for an hour when she saw it because it smelled like childhood. You opened his banjo case in the attic and swear you saw a gardenia petal fall out. You could never find it. smile as wide as the western sky. It kind of sucks, my voice is going out. Ugh. Your grandmother's piano, you saw where she had placed tape on every key. They wrote the names of each note on the tape. Nothing ever sounded so out of key and in tune all at once. When your grandfather's banjo joined in, your mother's tiny hands clack-clacked the same spoons on the same knee you rested your head on at your grandmother's funeral. Your 11-year-old mind couldn't fathom why a stranger played a hallelujah praise at a funeral. You asked your mother, why are they happy Grandma's dead? They aren't happy, honey. They're happy she's in heaven. Have they ever even seen heaven? And are there pianos there? Your mother smiled and kissed your forehead. But you're 23 now and you still can't answer questions about God or heaven. You still don't know how it feels to float inside of a cloud. You guess it has some kind of formlessness to it. And you're snapped back into reality when you mindlessly hit a key. You find yourself scratching at the corners of the tape, bronze with age. You pick a couple notes, some ragtime song your mom would play when she thought you were asleep. That night you lay awake, watching the dark blue clouds dance along the horizon, and you named them, write their names on tape, just so you won't forget them in the morning. Before you fall asleep, you hear those same notes ring from the basement, and you don't move an inch just so your mom won't notice you're awake and stop playing. Notice just how hilariously weird the universe is sometimes. Literally billions of people have felt microscopic at night watching the sky. And you know this is true because of all the freaking songs that are written about it. But if not anything, please rest easy knowing your Grammy is enormous now. Your grandfather's banjo, that's a sun. Its neck is a lenticular galaxy. When the morning comes with stomach pangs of hunger, just know your Grammy has a Big Dipper full of Sunday breakfast and turkey dinner, and a Little Dipper full of dandelion wine. And because of you, the clouds remember their names. Thank you. One more. You're going to move here. Oh, sorry.
Thanks, Jude.
Really adding to it.
Transition.
Okay, this is one called Aquariums, and it's probably, oddly enough, usually I don't get that emotional over songs that are poems I write. I mean, I was bawling writing this one. It's very, I wrote it over the course of like a year and a half, through which I was very happy, then very, very sad for a long time, and I finished it when I was finally starting to be okay again, which is, pretty recently. Things are doing really good, and so yeah, it's very different emotionally. Got lots of different. I don't know. It's like a roller coaster, the old cliche goes. But this is a poem called Aquariums. One day I saw a lonely lifeboat rowing down my staircase. Curiously, I walked up the stairs and found a window open, and all I could see was a golden ocean of sun flowing through the vacancy where dark once coexisted with cold, pirate ships of pollen and dust particle yachts rowing through the sunlight sea. This is what God looks like. God looks like a 4-year-old Messiah spreading the 25-cent plastic cup gospel from her lemonade stand cathedral. God looks like a 9-year-old Picasso reincarnation, finger-painting stained glass windows of dancing circus tambourines, playground memories, and battle scenes from home Dad wishes he hadn't seen. God looks like Mother's bruises and Dad's empty whiskey bottles, and family photos flying across the room at each other's face. Isn't it ironic how the smiles in the picture frame strike blows to the same face, that same face? And God looks like space, like plans, like hands, like dedication, like innovation, like invocation, like a dusty projector sharing transparencies of our last trip to the mountains. Look how high up we were, up on God's eyebrow. So far up we were washing cloud out of our hair for days. But did you know there isn't a single city or town in America named home? That is a true fact. Why do we call it that then? I never wanted to call my house home because you are. It's very important to feel safe. I realize that now, especially around you. But that's just like visiting the rubble of a wrecking ball aftermath, trying to hold on to something you used to call home. but I guess some things just aren't worth rebuilding. I would sell every part of my soul out to every god if only it gave me the capacity to create love out of nothing. I've been looking in alleys and backseats for it and empty vodka bottles and fireplaces. The closest I ever came was when I caught a glimpse of noiseless longing from the bathroom and found a city of white light love emptying out the gaping door. It left me emotionally crippled to see it was just my own reflection in the mirror. But I'm not love. I'm not a god. I'm not even a hopeless romantic. And that is why it's so fucking hard, because I'm full of love. I'm just so overflowing with it, it's disgusting. I would sell every part of my soul to every god to calm this rampant inferno. I've never felt so full all of the time. And I found God finally on the second day we spent together, when we spent 8 hours just holding each other. If you ever wondered why you would catch me kissing you with open eyes, it was because God was hiding behind your iris. Ironically, I bought you a bouquet of irises, probably on some romantic occasion I can't really remember. And when you're struggling with the idea of God, look in the mirror, compose yourself. I always tried to write you a duet, but when you left, you became a symphony. And that's what God looks like. But still, I'm looking for love all of the time. All of my windows are open. I can feel boats rowing under my skin, rowing on the waves of my blood. I've never felt so full of light. I am invincible. I am so full of oceans. I am invisible. I look like a human-sized fish tank. Every time it stops raining, rainbow fish always start swimming inside of me, creating a complete arc of polychromatic color rainbows. I am in love all of the time. Just without a filter to regulate thoughts, without pebbles collected on the bottom to hold me down, without a plastic castle fish could call home.